Thank you, Jeremy. What a great game. Two of the best quarterbacks in the country. I said earlier today that these two guys are going to put on a show tonight, and they did. It was so much fun to watch. Proud of our guys. Momentum, we dominated the first quarter and a half, and then right before the half, going into score to get 31 and throw the interception. They run out to the 50. Then your defense has to step up, and we didn't stop them. So we had to come out and take our momentum back the second half because we lost it all. Missed the field goal, they go down and score. So we let them get back in the ball game, but scored every time we touched the ball in the second half. Scored touchdowns. Really, really proud of the running game and the balance on offense, and that's who we wanted to be to start the season. We just weren't ready to do that. Defensively, we made enough stops to win, but we still Brennan Armstrong's really, really good. We allowed him to have too many completions and stay on the field on third down. That were 6 for 8 the first half. I know I'm not really sure it was a lot better the second half, but still not great. So we had 3 sacks to their 1. We had fewer penalties, which is something we hadn't done well against them, but Virginia's been a hard team for us to beat. So really, really proud of our team. Sam looked like the quarterback that we all knew he was. He had one of the best games I've ever seen, and his ability to run is really helping our running game because he's had over 100 yards the last 2 weeks. And when he runs, whether it's a scramble or off the read option plays, it opens up a lot more things inside. And then Josh Downs has just been dominating outside. And the fact that Brian Anderson played very little and only at the end when Kyrian Johnson came out, and William Barnes played most of the time at tackle. Ed Montellis played at guard because Josh Azudu and Brian Anderson and Jordan Tucker weren't out there they didn't start and didn't get to play a whole lot. Really, really helps us with our depth because we were not sure about what that would do to our team going into the ball game. And we'll enjoy this one tonight. Got a lot of things we got to fix. Still got some guys banged up. I thought we were in great shape. I thought that was something that really helped us in the fourth quarter. Did a really good job of managing the clock late, but also got to peek at that Georgia Tech score after the game, and they had a barn burner with Clemson at Clemson, so they're obviously much improved. Questions?
All right, thanks, Coach. We will begin with CL Brown. Go ahead, CL.
Mac, how do you kind of explain the running game getting 300 yards when you had to, basically go with 3 different starters on the offensive line, and we hadn't seen these kind of big plays, on a consistent basis anyway in the first 2 games?
CL, I got no clue. This business is crazy. You look up, I sit there and watch games all day and see scores that are just impossible, can't happen. I don't know if it's because the transfer portal is made it where some teams are better than we thought. We didn't know about their transfers, or maybe the locker room isn't settled with some yet that took a lot of transfers, and they'll get better as the season goes on. But with Ty and the offensive line, it just I think they got tired of hearing that they weren't tough, and they got tired of hearing they weren't good. And they did a great job protecting Sam tonight as well as running the football. So hopefully that will get us going. A lot of those guys have been banged up, and they're playing a little bit more now. And it was, like I said, it was William Barnes' first time to start. And just from what I saw, it looked like he did a great job. So that'll really help us going down the road because those guys felt really, really good about themselves. The other thing is the guys didn't like the fact that nobody in that room had beaten Virginia. And this was really important. We'd had our opportunities the last 2 years. So I was really, really proud of their confidence and mental toughness at halftime, that when the game turned and they had lost to these guys enough that it could have gotten in their heads that they didn't, and they came back out. And I do think Ty Chandler is getting more used to this offense. And he hit a lot of creases tonight that we might have missed up until the second half last week. If you go back and look at it, CL, they blocked this way and ran the ball like this the second half last week. And nobody counted it because it was Georgia State. But it was much better in the second half. I thought that was the first time we had an offense that we wanted to have, and it continued tonight.
Thank you.
Over to Dina King.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Coach, congrats on the win. You mentioned William Barnes. How happy are you to see a guy that's went through all he's went through, and when his name got called, he come out and performed well?
Dana, he did so well, and that's what you love about coaching. I told the guys before the game, this is really important to all of us, but we've all got issues in our lives. This is a game, and we want to compete and we want to win. It's very important, but you got to have some fun. And I told William the same thing. He's gone from 342 pounds to 315. He's worked really, really hard to lose the weight, work harder in the weight room, and he hasn't played any. He's played very, very little, a play here or a play there or cleaning up in a ball game. And for him to start in a game that's important to us and play well has to be such a great feeling for him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dina.
Okay, over to Josh Graham.
Coach, back to the run game, a couple of things. With Sam running it a little bit more the last couple of weeks, has there been any added emphasis for him to protect himself and potentially slide more often? And secondly, you said you had no idea to explain the run game having the success it did, but was there something in practice that you saw, considering how banged up you guys have been, that led you to believe a performance like today would be possible?
Josh, number one, we constantly tell Sam to get down. A lot of times tonight he got out of bounds, and he is sliding better. He still doesn't do it as much as we'd like, but he's going to be part of our running game, and it's facts. So we've got to make sure that he takes care of himself. But he's such a dynamic runner, and that's one of the things that's improved so much in his game since his first game against South Carolina a couple of years ago and now. Secondly, the running game takes longer. You lose two of the best backs in the country. They're both impact players in the NFL. You're not just going to stick somebody in their place. And then we've had so many injuries in the offensive line, excuse me, that set us back as well. So that was a bad combination of both. Our receivers are coming on. We didn't need the outside guys as much tonight because we ran the ball so well. But now people are going to have to start stacking the box, and it's going to give us opportunities outside again. So we were back tonight in the second half of Georgia State like we want to be offensively.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Coe, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you sort of alluded to this earlier, but I wanted to ask about the mood in the halftime locker room, because you had this explosive start in the first quarter, and then you find yourself down 28-24. But it sounds like, at least to me from what you said, it sounds like it was a rather positive attitude. Is that correct?
It was, Michael. I thought I was down. Leaving at halftime, we try a 54-yard field goal. We miss it, and they drive right down and score. Sam threw the interception right before that. They drive right down and score from the 50. So we took a blowout and turned it back into a deficit, and we did it quickly. It was disappointing, and I saw our body language change on the sideline. I saw our heads get down. So we had to pick back up at halftime and start over. And really, really proud of this team and this team's leadership that they came back out and took it down and scored that first drive of the second half. That was so important. And then every drive after that, sometimes you get ahead and you get relaxed and you mess some things up, or you let somebody get back in the ball game. And offensively, we were scoring and moving the ball so well. Virginia was not going to get back and win this game.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Isaac Shade.
Coach, the first 8 offensive plays tonight included 1 incompletion and 7 plays of 10 or more yards and 3 touchdowns. What can you say about the start that you got off to?
Isaac, the offensive line they opened holes and gave Sam protection, and our receivers and Sam are getting on the same page now. It's so hard to do that in practice. You'd think it'd be easy, but it's not, because they're not running the same schemes as Virginia, and you work on those all week, and you've got different people. And our guys get to work against Kyler McMichael and Storm Duck and Tony Grimes every day in practice. So that helps them too. And we knew that Josh was going to be a dynamic player, and now people will start double teaming him, and it'll open the things up outside.
Okay, over Andrew Jones.
Sorry about my throat. I yelled a lot tonight.
Coach, I want to go back to the end of the first half and how you guys flip things around. When you look at sequences of growth during a game, during a season, How big do you think that was going back to 24/7? You're up, everything's going well. Sam's you guys are, if there's a pick in the end zone, looks like you guys are gonna go up 31-14 and boom, you're down 28-24. How much growth did you see in your team overcoming that and flipping it in the third quarter the way you did?
Andrew, I thought it's probably the best thing that could have happened to us. We didn't need to blow them out at that time because then you come back out and you're standing around a little bit in the second half at 31-14 at halftime. You're feeling too good about yourself. There's hard lessons that happen in games that you can't teach in practice. And they're answering after a touchdown by the other team. They're going out and shutting it down after a turnover. There are things like that happen. And tonight, our team, as a team, didn't get frustrated with each other. I told them at halftime, this is a battle of two of the best quarterbacks in the country. So it is a challenge, man, for both you sets of defenses. So it's going to be who comes out on top with the defenses of making a stop or making these quarterbacks a little bit hesitant. And then we obviously had the 38-yard punt return, which led to a touchdown as well. So our kicking game stepped up tonight. So we had a block punt last week, a 38-yard return tonight. The offense and the running game picked it up. We weren't as good on defense tonight, but I think that's because of Brennan Armstrong. So, but Andrew, I've never been prouder of a team that was way up and got behind and came back and finished the game like they should.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam Smith.
Hey, Mac, talking about refocusing at halftime and starting over, just on a night that Armstrong is throwing for 550 yards, is there also a feeling during the second half of urgency to where, like, I mean, you guys have got to keep your foot on the pedal because you know what he's doing over there? Just what did that feel like, as you're taking the lead and knowing how capable they are?
Yes, absolutely, Adam. You knew they were going to score points. And we were hoping we'd get a turnover. We dropped 2 interceptions that we've got to catch. And when a guy's hot like that, that's what you got to do. And then we've got to get more sacks. We were back there some, but he's so good at stepping around. And I do think that's 2 of the best quarterbacks in the country. And it was fun to watch them. And both of them put on an absolute show. And Sam just had more help with running game. And I looked up at halftime. They've had the ball 44 plays. And we'd had it 29. We were scoring so fast. So it was wearing our defense out. But I thought that what some of you asked me about on Wednesday and what we talked about as a team all week is mental toughness. And it's really, really hard for young guys in this game to see something flip like that and flip it back. And this is a mentally tough football team because they absolutely flipped it back and didn't blink. And as worried as I was about it at halftime, they were not. They fixed it, and I'm very proud of them.
Did you congratulate them afterwards for stopping the losing streak to Virginia? I know that was, a big deal for you guys and something that was a motivator.
Yeah, I said we've started one. We've got 1-0 as our streak.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, that's about the time we've got for you tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Be careful.
Hey, Marcus, thanks for a few minutes. We'll go right over to Greg Barnes. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, Marcus, there were some comments made by Virginia this week about toughness and kind of the physicality of the game. I'm curious, did you guys hear that and see that, and did that serve as motivation for tonight?
Yes, sir. We definitely, as a unit, took this game personally. So we just made sure that we came out and made sure we was tough for 4 quarters.
What was the key for the ground game to get going like we haven't seen it thus far this year?
I think we'll just make sure we communicated as a unit and make sure we performed every play because every play matters.
Andrew Jones, go ahead.
Hey, Marcus, what happened during the week you think that may have kind of pushed you guys toward a performance like this when those tackle-to-tackle runs weren't as effective the first 2 games, but were tonight?
Can you repeat that one time?
What happened during the week at practice? Was there something that you guys did? Was there, you could tell me that kind of put you guys in a position where those tackle to tackle runs, the inside runs, the power running was there tonight, and it really wasn't there the first two games. Was there something that changed? Was there something that was different that kind of led you guys to this performance?
I want to say there was like no big change. We just knew as a unit that we can have a major impact on this team. And I think it suddenly clicked that we can do this, and we all started performing on all cylinders.
What was the level of frustration after watching film last week? And at what point early tonight did you realize, hey, this is kind of who we are. This is different. We've found ourselves again.
I mean, of course, there was a little frustration, but we knew that we were almost there every time. It was just one simple mistake. So this week, we was really nitpicking on the small mistakes, make sure we got everything right, and we performed. Make sure we performed.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
CL Brown, go ahead.
Hey, Marcus, what did you see in the second half against Georgia State in terms of the running game that you felt like you guys were able to carry over? Coach Brown pointed out, he felt like late in that game, or at least in the second half of the game last week is when things start to turn around for you.
We just knew that we can do better, we can perform better, and that we want to perform to our full potential. So we just kept going at it, and we love our backs. So we was definitely trying to show them some more love.
And how are you guys able to, with basically three guys in there or three starters out of the lineup tonight, at least in the starting lineup? What was it about the communications that you mentioned earlier that allowed you guys to play so well?
Well, since camp, Coach Brown has been preaching that we have more depth. So if anybody goes down, next man up. So we've been practicing this whole time, and we already knew if somebody go down, we have people ready to perform, and there'll be no drop off.
Okay, last one for Marcus. Go ahead, Adam Smith.
Hey, Marcus, Ty Chandler's night tonight, he almost had 200 yards. What did you see from him tonight that maybe you haven't seen in the first two games? Is there sort of a light bulb starting to go on there with the way he's meshing with you guys, do you think?
I definitely think so. Today, I definitely saw a different side of Ty. He seemed he seemed more juiced and energetic than ever before. So I'm excited to see it.
I was going to say, it must be an exciting thing to watch happen, I guess.
Oh, of course. It always is.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Marcus, thanks for a few minutes today. We appreciate it.
Sir, thank you.
Marcus, appreciate you.
All right, Sam, hey, thanks for a couple of minutes. Mike Topper, go ahead.
Hey, Sam, congrats on the big win tonight. Just want to get your overall thoughts on the game itself, but also how did it feel to snap that little skid you guys had going against UVA?
Yeah, no, I felt awesome out there. I feel like, on offense, we were clicking on all cylinders. You had the run game going, the pass game going. So, really just credit to our O-line. They did a great job. They did a great job in pass protection. We ran the ball better than it's probably second best running performance I've seen us have since I've been here, which is unbelievable. So Coach Longo had a really good plan for us. We knew we were going to go in here and have a pretty good game. So, it's just credit to those guys around me. We just played a complete game on offense.
Gregory Hall.
Sam, how would you describe Josh Downs' night tonight?
Yeah, Josh is unbelievable. We knew it was only a matter of time before the world knows who Josh Downs is. He works super hard. He's the hardest working guy on our team. So it was just only a matter of time. All I try to do is just try to give him the ball as much as possible, and he makes plays. He's always open. They tried to cover him with several of their best guys that they thought could cover him, and no one could cover him all night long. So I'm blessed just to have Josh on my team.
Dyami Brown had 200 yards against UVA the last 2 years. Did you have a feeling that tonight would be Josh's night?
Yeah, just from the game plan we had, I knew we were going to have some opportunities to kind of isolate Josh on the safety. And every chance we had to do that, we connected on it. Josh was open every single time. So I knew Josh was going to have a big game. He prepares like a professional. He's in there watching film with the quarterbacks all the time. So yeah, we knew Josh would do good tonight.
Hunter Nelson. Hey, Sam, congrats on the win. So obviously for the offense, your motto has been don't blink, and it's been that for the past couple of years. How did that motto sort of play into the narrative of the back and forth affair that existed tonight?
Yeah, it definitely played a big part. You think about late in the second quarter, I throw the pick. It was kind of a 14-point swing there. Going into the half, we were losing at halftime, but we just kind of came together in the locker room at halftime, and they just told each other, they haven't stopped us the whole game. Just keep doing what we're doing, keep dominating the line of scrimmage, and we'll be all right. Don't worry about the first half. Let's go out there and dominate the second half, and that's what we were able to do.
CL Brown.
Sam, Coach Brown talked about the second half against Georgia State in terms of the running game, and he felt like you guys kind of he could see where you guys would break through. Was there anything, or what did you see from that second half last week that made you think you could kind of carry some things over in the running game?
Yeah, I think we created a lot of momentum for us last week. We had a really good night on the ground last week. And our O-line, we actually kind of banged up this week in practice and stuff. We had some guys that weren't able to practice. So, coming into the game, we liked our game plan. We were kind of unsure how those guys were going to perform because a couple guys made their first start tonight. And those guys, they responded so well. Coach Searles did a really good job preparing those guys. And, it really starts up front. We told them guys all night long, all the points, all the touchdowns that you see, it's all the O-line. They did an incredible job. They dominated line of scrimmage. I think they had a little extra motivation. A couple of guys on their D-line were publicly, calling them soft and stuff. So, they wanted to go out there and make a statement, and they did.
All right, we're getting tight on time, guys. So we'll go one more for Sam. Isaac Shade, go ahead.
Sam, you've had over 300 yards and 4 or more touchdowns every time you've played Virginia. What is it about seeing the Cavaliers for you?
I don't know. It's a good question. I saw Diami my first 2 years had 3 touchdowns in both those games. I saw Diami in the locker room before the game. She's back watching Joffrey. I was like, dang, man, you suit up tonight. He knows everything about Virginia. But no, I just think Coach Longo, just something about this offense against this defense. This was the defense they ran tonight was actually something that they didn't do the first 2 years when we played them. They did a little 3 safety defense. And, when you watch a lot of film of it, no one really does well against it. And Coach Longo is probably the best game plan against the 3 safety defense that anyone's ever had in college football. And it was just super fun to be a part of it.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, Sam, thanks for a couple of minutes.
Thanks.
Hey, Josh, thanks for joining us. Greg Barnes, go ahead.
Hey, Josh, given the preseason hype and expectations and then the Virginia Tech outcome a couple of weeks ago, did the team need a game like this to kind of settle down and kind of get back in the flow of things?
Oh, definitely. We came out of Virginia Tech. It was a tough loss. Last week we came out, we were very explosive, but it was Georgia State, so we were still like, how good are we? But we put it on them tonight, and we were hitting from defense to offense. The run game was hitting, the pass game was hitting. Sam was on his P's and Q's, so it was a great night.
And what was the key from your perspective, kind of getting that hot start? You scored the first 2 touchdowns, but what worked?
I feel like we just had good matchups. Coach Longo put me in a good situation. Our O-line held up good. We had a run game going, so they had to respect that. They had a weird defense that we've never played before. They had like a 3 high safety look, and Coach Longo wanted to see if they're what they're really about, and we exposed them. So,
thanks,
Michael Coe.
Hey, Josh, Sam was telling us that he saw Diami Brown in the locker room before the game. Did Diami give you any words of wisdom? Obviously, he had a lot of success against Virginia in the past.
Diami came up to me and he basically said, you're not going to beat my record against Virginia. I had 206 my sophomore year. And I was like, we're going to see about that. And I fell a little short, but it is what it is. We got the win. That's all that matters. But yeah, Diami's like a big brother to me. So having him around at the games is very important to me. He's been there, done that. He's in the league. So he definitely gives me words of wisdom. He calls me during the week. I talked to Daz Newsome before the game as well. So them boys get me right. They help me. They just making sure I'm straight.
Thanks.
Andrew Jones.
Hey, Josh, Max said that you guys were in position to go up 31-14. Sam throws the pick. Next thing you know, it's halftime and you're trailing 28-24. Max said he was worried but he saw in you guys, the players, that you guys weren't worried. Where do you think that came from? Where you guys weren't worried given the way the end of the first half flipped like that?
I wasn't really worried. I know my guys. I know we were going to come out. They couldn't really mess with us. Their defense couldn't mess with our offense, and I knew our defense was going to adjust. I mean, we're a family, and I knew what it was. We were clicking tonight. I mean, we jumped on them early, and they came back. But I mean, I just didn't feel like the vibe that it was going to be a close game, and I mean, we handled it well. So it was our night, God willing. I mean, He helped us win, and we put it on the table tonight.
And when you look at how a team grows during the course of the season, how big do you think that sequence was that you guys were able to so seamlessly overcome the way the first half closed?
It was very important. It showed that we can fight through some adversity, and it was our first big conference win. I mean, we haven't beat Virginia in 4 years, and they've been publicizing that a lot. So it was great to come out with a victory tonight. And I mean, I couldn't be happier with the team's performance. And I mean, I'm very grateful for my performance. My guys helped me out tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, last one for Josh. Mike Topper, go ahead.
Hey, Josh, Coach Brown had talked about, this is the balance that he was hoping to see just from being out in the field. What did you make of kind of the compliment you had of, 400 rush yards, 300 passing yards? What did you make of it out there?
Oh, I mean, I went up to Todd Chandler before the game, and I was like, we gonna run that thing. And he said, we gonna run that thing a lot tonight. So I knew it was gonna hit tonight. The old line was hitting, Sam was hitting it. It just felt great tonight. And I mean, we felt it was good last week as well. And I feel like this week was even better. So we're going to keep going. We have a lot more games on the schedule. We got Georgia Tech next week. They look great against Clemson today. So we got a tough one on our hands next week, but I feel like we're in a great position offensive wise and defensive wise.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, Jeremiah, thank you for a couple of minutes. And Greg Barnes, go ahead.
Hey, Jeremiah, I asked Josh this, but given the preseason hype and then the outcome up in Blacksburg a couple of weeks ago, was this a game that the team really needed to kind of get refocused and centered heading into the meat of ACC play?
Yeah, I think you can say that. And I think we were able to fight through some adversity too, like getting our first real conference win, but also being down at halftime and then coming out hot and playing so good in the second half. I feel like we kind of get the best of both worlds, being able to beat an ACC team and also coming out in the second half hot and ready to play.
Andrew Jones.
Jeremiah, I don't even know the final numbers on Brennan Armstrong, 500 something yards he passed for. What does it say about this team to actually win a game when a guy has that kind of success accumulating a ton of yards like Armstrong did?
I feel like it just comes with stopping the run. That's what we preached all week. I feel like that's what they kind of got us off last year was the run and pass game was kind of even. I mean, if we got rid of the run game, we really try to make them one dimensional. I think that's what we practiced so hard on all week. We knew we could throw the ball around the football field pretty good, but we didn't think they would make the adjustments and have 500 yards. But our goal is to get the run done in the second half. And I think in the second half, we made some good adjustments, but the things that they're catching balls on aren't just things we're getting beat on. It's just little miscues, miss errors. It's nothing really big that we have to fix. We just have to go in there and keep our eyes right. I feel like that was the biggest thing that got us in the passing game was where guys just weren't getting their eyes where they were supposed to be.
As a defensive guy, what kind of appreciation do you have for what Sam's done the last 2 weeks? Only once before in school history had someone thrown for 300 and run for 100 in the same game, and he's done it 2 straight weeks now. Just your thoughts as defensive guys seeing a quarterback do what he's done.
Oh, I love it. I mean, I love when the offense can put points on the board. I mean, I know they score points fast and the defense gets out there quick. But I mean, as a defensive player, I love it. I love when offenses can get up on the board and score quickly, get points up on the board, and get the defense out there. Because I feel like if we can get out there and get them out, we can flip the field and get another score. We can run it up on really quick. So I mean, hats goes out to all those guys. I mean, the running backs ran so good tonight. Ty Chandler and Caleb Hood. I mean, Hendo in there running the ball, and then the offensive line did a great job of blocking, opening up holes, and being in protection for the pass game too.
Thank you.
All right, 2 more for Jeremiah. Gregory Hall, go ahead.
Jeremiah, I wanted to ask you about Kaven Rucker. I mean, he's got 2.5 sacks through 3 games. He had 2 tonight. He didn't play a lot against Virginia Tech, but the last 2 games he's really excelled. What have you seen out of him, and what can you say about his performances?
I mean, that's something I've just been preaching all year, really. I mean, spring, fall camp. I believe Kaven Rucker was a guy that's a guy who's going to be really hard to pull off the football field for our team. I mean, I know you look at him and you think he lacks the size and at the DM position, but he plays so good with his hands, plays so good with his leverage, and he's 100 miles an hour all the time. I mean, he doesn't get tired. He's out there on the O-lineman, and then when we do rotate guys and he gets a little breather and he goes back out there and he has that stamina, he's hard to stop. And I mean, you go back and look at all the other medias and things we talked about through spring and fall, and Kaven Rucker was one of the guys I thought who's going to be really hard player to get taken off the field.
All right, last one, CL Brown, go ahead.
Jeremiah, you guys are already with 5 takeaways this year, and after only having 11 last year, what would you say is the difference so far in being able to cause some turnover?
I think it's our mentality on defense. I mean, that's something we preached about on the offseason is we were good at we were looking at our sacks and our turnover numbers, and our sack numbers were up with a lot of the high good defenses in the nation, but our turnover margin was not our turnover margin, but the turnovers we get throughout the season was really low. It was like half of the teams who were on the defensive teams who were really good. They had about, I think, like 23, 24 turnovers or something like that throughout the season. And that's something we preach, either getting fumbles out and getting the pick. And that's something we both did tonight. I mean, JQ made a great play on the sideline, and then Chris came flying off the edge and popped the ball loose. And I mean, that's just stuff we've been preaching about all offseason, and you can see it's translating to the games.
Thank you.
All right, Jeremiah, thanks for a couple of minutes.
Yep, no problem.
All right, we'll go right over to Isaac Shade. Go ahead.
Jaquarius, on your pick, it looked like you flew over top of the receiver and the D-back. What's it like to fly through the air like that for those of us that can't do it?
I really can't explain how it feels, but it definitely feels great. In high school, all I did was dunk the ball and stuff like that and jump over people. So, it just comes natural. Just get in the air, go get the ball. I knew it was a pretty high ball, so I knew it was going to be a jump ball, so you just got to go get it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Michael Coe, go ahead.
Hey, Jaquarius, after your pick, it looked like you ran straight over to the student section and started hyping them up. What was going through your head when you're running over to the tar pit like that?
I'm just an emotional dude. I play football emotionally. I love the game. So, anytime I make a play or anytime my boys on the team make a play, I'm always hyped and stuff like that. So, just running to the crowd, it just feels good to have a student session this year, and it just feels good to have a fan base this year in the stands. So it was great.
Thanks.
Greg Barnes.
Hey, what kind of was the game plan coming into tonight? You guys were really effective against the run. I think allowed 21 yards, but then Armstrong throws for 550. Kind of what was the emphasis?
We was gonna play a lot of one high, but we just made a couple mistakes in the first quarter and first half, and it's just things that we had to clean up when we came into halftime. And Coach Bateman made sure that we did that. He wrote up some plays on the field, on the board, and we just made sure when we came out to halftime that everything that we did in the first half didn't happen in the second half.
Thanks.
CL Brown, last one for JQ.
Hey, clearly you haven't been that limited, but I was just curious with your hand taped up the way it is, like how that may change anything you do on the field.
It's hard to set edges. I can't really stick my hand out and flatten it like I want to. I gotta kind of use my knuckles a little bit or use my forearm. So it's been a little bit difficult, but when you love the game and you love to play, you're gonna continue to play no matter what you got to handle.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
We'll finish off with Ty Chandler.
All right, Ty, we'll get you through this real quick. Ryan Heller, go ahead.
After struggling to develop an effective running game in Blacksburg, what changed tonight?
First off, I just want to say thank God. It's a blessing.
just to be in this position, and big shout out to my O-line for doing that job and contributing everything they did tonight. If it weren't for them, man, I wouldn't be up here and the yards wouldn't be up there. But it's just all came together tonight and everything was clicking. Just what we've been working on all week, man. We know we've been putting the work in, and to go out there and see it pay off is amazing. So yeah, that's what it came down to: the hard work, man, and execution. I feel like we were able to execute tonight and control the line of scrimmage, and it paid off.
All right, Greg Barnes.
Hey, Ty, there were some comments made this week by some Virginia players about physicality and toughness in this game. Is that something you guys use as motivation?
Oh yeah, man. We use it as motivation all week. But I think we'll let them settle that one out and handle that one and discuss it amongst themselves.
CL Brown.
Coach Brown talked about last week's the second half against Georgia State, kind of finding a rhythm in the running game. I was wondering what you feel like you were able to take from that game and use in this game.
A lot, man. Just going back and watching this film and watching this one and just seeing where I was going wrong, what I could do better. Focusing on the little things when it came down to it. Focusing on point of attack, my footwork, my eyes, vision, stuff like that, man. It's just the little things that helped me succeed a lot this week. And but we got to keep getting better. Keep building on those things and keep progressing for next week.
Is it a matter of you kind of having a feel now for the offensive line, or how, where the holes may open up?
Yeah, man, having a feel and just patience and letting things develop for you, stuff like that. So I feel like that's what I was able to do tonight. And like I said, big shout out to the O-line, man.
Mike Toper.
Hey, Ty, almost 400 yards on the ground today. What did you see out there on the field that was working so well? You mentioned, the O-line, of course, but what was working so well for you guys to allow you to find those holes and gobble up the yards like that?
Great guys in the running back room contributing with Caleb Hood and Josh Henderson. Those guys come and they work hard every week, and I'm happy to see it pay off for them as well. And O-line being physical up front and moving and opening holes, and us being patient, running with vision, and not being decisive, man. So knowing what you're gonna do and making the first man miss. So that's something we got to keep building on and take into next week as we go down to Georgia.
All right, Ty, that's all we got for tonight. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
All right. Sorry, guys. It's 12:20.